Hi, I'm Maggie. Welcome to Experiments in Crafting. Tonight I've got a big old box of yarn that I ordered from Lion Brand to open up and show you guys. I know that I just did a Lion Brand unboxing, a whole bunch of stuff that I bought at Joann Fabric, and I was searching around on Lion Brand's website looking for some patterns for one of the yarns, the shimmery yarn that I made the hat out of. So I was looking around on there, and that yarn's not even on their website, but I did notice that they had a whole bunch of yarn that was all new that I didn't get. So I bought a bunch of that, and I'm going to unbox it and show you guys some of those. These are not yarns that I've seen anywhere in stores, and they're also not yarns that are available on Joann Fabric's website. I didn't check Michael's website, but I haven't seen them anywhere. They're brand spanking new. So I'm going to show those to you guys and see what you guys think. And then, as always, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So if you've got crochet questions or yarn questions or whatever I can help you out with, put those in the live chat and we will talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Couple people saying hello, and Xana saying that she's excited for the live stream tonight. So welcome, and thanks for joining us. And hello to everyone who's not chatting but is watching. I'm glad you're all here, and so I'm going to go ahead and just sort of get into some of the unboxing. So I've opened the box up. And so the first yarn that I'm going to start with, I bought in a bunch of colors because it came in a bunch of pretty colors. Let me get them all out, and then I will show you. Got it. All right. So this is called Lion Brand Ice Cream Deluxe. And I thought that was a very strange choice because Lion Brand already makes a yarn called Ice Cream. It's a baby yarn. So I don't know. I guess the deluxe is the distinguishing factor, but ice cream is not a chenille style yarn, and this is. And so I don't know. It's a weird choice for them. They probably could have come up with another word, but this is Ice Cream Deluxe in the color Corolla. I'm not totally sure why. Usually there's a theme, but I don't think I noticed one when I was looking. So let's see. These are a 5-ounce ball, which is 142 grams. They're 155 yards or 142 meters. It's a number 6 super bulky weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic. They recommend a 13 or 9 millimeter knitting needle and an N hook, which is a 9 millimeter hook. And they don't have... we were talking last time about the little logos on the side that say whether they have how many for a hat or how many for a blanket. This packaging has none of that. So this is the color Corolla. It's got like a pink, a seafoam, a lavender, darker pinky purple color, a darker mint green, and then it goes back to it's a different purple than this one. So it's sort of light pink, light mint, light purple, darker pink, darker mint, darker purple. Is sort of the general trend, and then the light pink shows up a tiny bit in the center. It is only supposed to be one color through, so supposed to be 6 colors, one of each in a particular order. So I got 3 balls of Corolla. 3 felt like it was about enough to do a small baby blanket. So that's what I aimed for. I bought a bunch of colors in this just because they looked really nice online, and I didn't really want to pay for shipping twice. So they're a little bit weird. They're not as soft as I wanted them to be. They feel a little bit like dryer lint. I don't really know how to tell you. Like they they feel squeaky. Like, it's not really a good way to describe what I'm feeling, but it's not, they don't feel like velvet or Velux or parfait, and I don't really think they feel all that much like Bernat blanket or any of the heavy chenille yarns. They're kind of a different feel. They're definitely soft. I'm trying to remember. I think Bernat blanket is made of polyester. I think it's 100% polyester, and this is 100% acrylic, so maybe that's the difference. But it's definitely got a weird feel to it. It's not bad. I know saying it feels like dryer lint doesn't feel or doesn't sound great, but it's more like matted together, like as a ball. I don't know. None of what I'm saying is positive. And I don't mean it to be like totally negative, but it's a very odd like squish to it. I'm not really sure how to describe it. So again, this is the color Corolla. I'm going to open up a couple of these. I thought they came in some really cool colors. So this is Emerald Isle, which has some like mauves and some greens in here. Looks like this one might only have 4 colors in it. Same stats, 142 grams, 155 yards, number 6 weight yarn, 100% acrylic. So, Corolla, Emerald Isle. This one is called Kincaid, and I thought it was a really pretty oceany color. Make sure you guys can see that. So, really, it would make a very nice blanket for a baby boy. Like, if you knew somebody was having a baby boy, I think this would make, like, a really pretty blanket. And especially getting some of the greens in there. Honestly, it would probably even be fine for a gender-neutral blanket with the bright blues in there and the greens. Like, it'd be fine. Like you know what I mean? Like, just if you didn't know the gender of the baby, it might be fine for a girl as well. So, and then this is called Jupiter. So, and it's got some grays and some steel blues and then some purples in it. And then this color is sort of like it looks blue on screen, but it's got just a little hint of some like blue-green to it. So, last time, Corolla, Kincaid, Emerald Isle, and Jupiter. Let me slide them back on screen. So, Emerald Isle, Corolla, Kincaid, and Jupiter. And I don't know about you, I can't think of a theme for those 4 words. Like they're not fitting any particular. A lot of times, like Lion Brand Mandala Baby is all named after mythical creatures. They've got like warlock and unicorn and gnome are like all the colorways, but I don't know of a pattern with these words. Nothing's jumping out to me. Slide these guys all the way off to the edge here and bring out something new. All right. So, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about chainette style yarns, and I said I don't know of any of the big brands that have a chainette style yarn. And then somebody said, well, Hobby Lobby has one. And then all of a sudden Lion Brand has like 4 or 5, just out of nowhere. So this is Lion Brand Low Tide. It is a chainette style yarn. It comes in these beautiful muted colors. It was one of the things that I said that I was looking for a friend of mine. I ended up finding, what was the name of that? It was a Plymouth Yarns, I don't remember the name of it. I have a video. It's a recent video. But it was a chainette style yarn. It came in a beautiful, like muted color palette. This would have been a perfect substitute for that yarn. So it's I think the same weight. It is, however, 100% acrylic, and oh no, it is not 100% acrylic. It's 81% acrylic, 19% polyester. I was looking for natural fiber for the gift that I was giving, but this would be an easy drop-in replacement for that yarn. So it comes in beautiful colors. I've got shell, cove, and palm. So, like I was saying before with the themes, these are very clearly like islandy names. And I don't know what's going on with those. Couple more people saying hello. Xana agreeing that they're definitely not ice cream names. So, welcome to anybody who's joining us. We're just going through some of the Lion Brand yarns, and right now I've got Low Tide here. So this is a brand new one. Let's go through some stats here. Like I said, 81% acrylic, 19% polyester. They're 100-gram balls. They're 306 yards or 280 meters. They're listed as a number 4 medium weight yarn. 306 yards is getting probably into the DK range. Just as a... So this might work up a little bit smaller than they're claiming. So generally when I think of a worsted weight yarn, I think about 200 yards per 100 grams. And for a fingering weight yarn, I generally say about 450 per 100. So 306 is really getting into DK range. But they are claiming that it's a number 4 medium weight or worsted weight. They're recommending a US 8 or 5 millimeter knitting needle, or an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So, and again, cove, shell, and palm, and they're really pretty muted colors. And again, a chainette style yarn, which is something we were just talking about. And then all of a sudden, Lion Brand has a couple of them, and you'll see a few more when I pull them out here. Just to be clear, this is a chainette style, which is not a filled tube. So this is, I think, knitted into an I cord. Don't hold me to that, but it's basically knitted into a teeny tiny tube. There's no filling. It works up just like yarn, but it's not twisted together. So instead, it's usually a much finer yarn made into a heavier yarn. So they just turn it into like a teeny tiny tube, and then you can just work with it like it's regular old yarn. So it doesn't usually look terribly different when it's worked up than a regular yarn, unless you're like a fiber artist, like a knitter or a crocheter. You can see the difference, especially if you look right at the stitches. But like as a garment and like on a person, or as an accessory, they don't really look any different from like a normal viewing distance. Like if somebody came up, you wouldn't immediately notice that. You'd actually have to inspect your stitches and go, oh, that's a little bit different. So works up pretty much the same. Slide these guys off. Welcome to Tracy and Nellie saying hello. And then I missed a little higher up. Angela said that the mandala roving is also not available on Lion Brand's website. So I was mentioning that the Shimmery is not on the Lion Brand website, and so I guess the mandala roving, which is available on Joann's website, and at some Joann stores. I actually just threw that off to the side, but it's a pretty nice looking yarn. I actually haven't worked with that one. Most of the ones that I showed on the last Lion Brand unboxing, I've worked something up, and I'm hoping to get some videos recorded here soon. I've been fighting, I think, a second round of colds. Been kind of stuffed up, and my head's been bugging me, so I haven't done really any recording aside from the live streams. see. So this is a weird sort of yarn. This is Lion Brand's Summer Kiss. It is also a chainette style yarn, but it's got mostly solid colored sections, and then there's these little bitty sections here that are maybe probably 2 stitches of like rainbow color in the middle. So I've got the colors hibiscus, grape, and blue raspberry here. So here you can see a little bit better. There's just these little short sections, and on either side is still this pink yarn, but they've just worked in a couple of little stitches, and that's all throughout the ball. And so depending on how you work these, they might pool strangely. But other than that, I think it'll work out pretty cool. I did also order this in mango, which is a bright orange. It, however, was not in my box. So Lion Brand is replacing that. I just got the email confirmation today that they're sending that out along with a yarn called Rebound. That also wasn't in my box. So Rebound is a different line. So I'll show that whenever it shows up. But the last color that I didn't get was a bright orange. So I think this will make for like a fun summery project. Angela's saying that the ice cream deluxe is named after beaches. Emerald Isle, Kincaid, Corolla, and Jupiter. So that sounds vaguely like, I think Jupiter's a city in California, maybe? Florida? Okay, well, beach cities potentially. So maybe they're cities famous for ice cream parlors or something. So okay.
There's a Kincaid Beach in Alaska, it looks like.
Okay. Well, beaches it is. Just no beaches I've ever been to. But thank you for helping me out, because I was wondering, it seemed like there had to be a theme, but it wasn't jumping out to me. This Summer Kiss yarn does have the little symbols on the front here, and they're indicating that it takes 1 ball to make a hat, 2 balls to make a scarf, and 3 balls to make a baby. I don't know what that symbol is for. Possibly a baby blanket? It's just a human head. Like, it's just a baby's head. So I don't know what they're suggesting there. I'm gonna hope baby blanket. That's my best guess. But whatever. Lion Brand is doing some strange things. These are 100-gram balls. They're 262 yards or 240 meters. They're also claiming that this is a number 4 weight yarn. They're recommending a US 7 or 4.5 millimeter knitting needle, or an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook. It is 80% cotton, 20% polyester. And if I was betting, I would say that it's probably a blend. I don't think that the little, like, the different colored sections are the whole polyester. But I could be convinced that maybe they are. So, I'm not sure if all of the solid colors are cotton and then just this little section is polyester, or if it's a blend all the way through and every bit is the same as the rest. But yeah, so there's Summer Kiss. Okay, so a couple of the other colors, Del Mar and Malibu, were what tipped you off to it being beaches. And yeah, I guess all you need is 3 balls of yarn to make a baby. I don't know. Like, I have no, I got nothing. It was the first time I've seen that symbol, and it really caught me off guard. So, set these guys aside, and let's see what else I got. I wish I had brought the doll dress down that's upstairs, but this is Lion Brand Go for Faux. I've shown this before. It's like a big, fat, furry yarn. I have an American Girl doll dress upstairs, and it's like a sparkly red, and then it has red cuffs on the wrists and on the collar. And what I'm hoping is that I can replicate the dress in crochet. Um, yeah, Lion Brand Gopher Fur. Uh, but yeah, so this is the color Red Panda. I've looked all over. I can't find Red Panda in a store anymore. Gopher Faux is still available at Walmart, and I've seen it a couple other places. I've got a big ball of it from Walmart, but I really wanted this Red Panda because the doll dress that I'm trying to replicate in crochet has these cute little red sleeves, and then the whole thing is red sparkle. It's like a party dress, like a Christmas dress. So, anyway, this is something that I wanted to try out, and this was sort of a weird color and went pretty well with what I wanted to do. Real quick, this is a number 7 jumbo yarn. It's a 120 gram ball. You get a whopping 24 yards or 22 meters. They recommend a 35 knitting needle, which is 19 millimeters, or a 19 millimeter crochet hook. That's a pretty large hook. I think the largest clover hook that I own is a 15 millimeter. And so I'd have to get like a Susan Bates hook or a boy hook. I think they're the only ones that go up to 25 millimeters. So they're recommending a 19, which they're calling an S hook. So Gopher Faux in Red Panda. Let's see, what else do I have? I thought I had 3 colors of this. So this is Lion Brand Truboo. It is 100% bamboo. Probably, actually, it might even say that. It says 100% rayon from bamboo. So it's, what they do there is they break down the fiber completely and then they extrude it into rayon, if I remember correctly. And so you get this really, really silky, soft feeling fiber. Generally, this tends to not hold up particularly well. So I don't know if that's the case with this yarn, but that is the general trend, is you get these little bitty fuzzes, which I'm sure won't show up on camera, but it's not even halo so much as it is just like halo to me seems more like longer hairs. This is just a little fuzz layer that you can imagine will start to rub and pill and do all sorts of unfun things. I am also noticing that, like, just right off the bat, the end of this yarn looks like it's trying to unply itself. So this is probably going to be kind of a splitty yarn. It just doesn't really want to hold together. So it does, however, come in gorgeous colors. It's super, super soft. I probably would not use this for, like, fingerless gloves or something where, like, there's going to be a lot of, like, rubbing, because I think that it's probably going to pill up a little bit. But a nice shawl that is just going to look really nice, or a cowl or something like that where it's not going to get, like, beat up or, really dragged around. Probably would also look nice as just like something on a tabletop or something like that. So, but incredibly soft. Let's see, what are they saying about this? 100 gram ball, 241 yards or 220 meters. They're calling this a number 3 lightweight yarn, which is a DK weight. They recommend a US 6, which is a 4 millimeter knitting needle, or a G hook, which is also a 4 millimeter crochet hook. And I've got the colors aqua, lilac, and mushroom, which is purpler than I would have guessed for mushroom. But the colors look nice together. And I figured I'd make something out of these and do a quick little review. But it does feel really fantastic. Just absolutely incredibly soft and like silky feeling. So, if you're looking for an alternative to something like silk, this is super, super soft, and way cheaper. So I think these were $3, $4 a ball, something like that. So even if they were $6 a ball, they'd still be wildly cheaper than silk. So push those off to the side. I do want to say, like, again, I was looking for, really nice muted colors. This is a beautiful example of that. Like, just a really kind of earth tony, but also kind of, I don't know, just a nice, like, pinky muted color. So, where something like this is just super, super bright. Alright, I'm down to my last type of yarn, but I've got a bunch of it. Oh, that one's getting away. Alright. So the last one I've got here is Dream Maker. This is also a chainette style yarn. This is more of the tube style, where they make a tube, but it's hollow in the center, and then they stuff it full of like filling. This one is not particularly stuffed. It's pretty flat and more tape-like than I've seen other ones that are really filled and end up being more like puffy. So these are pretty flat, but you can see, like, if I open up the end of this, if I peel open the end of this, there's like a little filling. So that all just stays in there. But the end result is that you get this like long continuous chain in just really, really pretty colors. So this is, again, Dream Maker. It's a 100-gram ball. You get 109 yards or 100 meters. It's 74% acrylic, 26% nylon. It's a number 5 bulky weight yarn. They recommend an 11 knitting needle, which is 8 millimeters, or a K hook, which is 6.5 millimeter. And this is the color Flutter. I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but it's going to look awesome with my hair. It's pretty much all of the same colors in my hair right now, so it's going to look cool. I also got the color Amulet, which is like a mustard, peach, orange, and like a dark teal. It looks really cool. And the color Twinkle, which is sort of nice baby colors. A white, a gray, a light blue, and a light pink. So really nice, kind of cloudy. I don't know. My husband thinks it looks like sour gummy worms. This one?
Yeah. Aren't they like pink and blue ones that are like?
Oh, yeah, I guess I know what you're talking about. I don't know if there's gray ones, though. But yeah, so that is Dream Maker. So I'll slide them all out real quick in case anyone joined in the middle. So we've got Lion Brand Dream Maker. Those are going off to the side. Whoop. Truboo, which is the 100% bamboo rayon yarn. Summer Kiss, which is a cotton poly blend, I think. 80% cotton, 20% polyester. Go for Faux, which is a yarn that I've shown before, but I got a bright red color. Or not bright red, but like deep red, burgundy. Low Tide, which is a chainette style that came in all these muted colors. It's 81% acrylic, 19% polyester. Okay. And then a whole bunch of Ice Cream Deluxe yarns, which are named after beaches, we found out. This is a chenille style yarn. And I thought it came in really pretty colors, so I got a bunch of it. I don't generally buy 4 colors in 3 balls a piece of a new yarn that I haven't touched. But it was really cool colors, so I just got them all. So, all right. So that's really all I have to show you guys tonight. This is all of the Lion Brand stuff that isn't available on Joanne's website that I bought direct from Lion Brand's website. I haven't seen it in any brick and mortar stores or on any like of the big websites, but it may be coming to some other stores, or maybe Lion Brand will just keep it as their own exclusive. That one escaped. But yeah, so if you're interested, that's where I got them. And like I said, I haven't seen them anywhere else, so that's where you probably are going to have to get them if you want them as well. I have a whole giant box of yarn coming from Premier. Premier is one of the big yarn brands that I've done some unboxing, and they make some interesting stuff too. So I've got a bunch of stuff coming from them as well. And maybe it'll be here in time for next week's live stream. But I'm not positive. I think it had a pretty long shipping time. I felt like I ordered other yarn. Oh, that's right. I was going to order Ice Yarns. Ice Yarns has really, really good deals on yarns, but they sell and ship directly from Turkey, and the shipping was absolutely horrendous. So you have to buy like bulk quantity. So by that I mean like normally yarn comes in like a sleeve if you buy it from a local yarn store, and they put them out on the shelf and you buy 1 or 2 or whatever you want for your project, but you can get the whole bag. And the bag prices were really good. So some of the yarns that I was looking at were like 87 cents a ball. And so it was only like $6.99 to get the whole bag, and it was fine. But I got, I don't know, $100 worth of yarn or something put in the cart, and shipping was $58 on the $100 order. And so I kind of balked at that a little bit. Yeah, it's a lot for US shipping. I know that some parts of the world that like trying to get to some parts of Canada, shipping is absolutely outrageous. But $58 for shipping for us is pretty steep. So I probably will order from Ice Yarns. I got a really nice message from somebody on Ravelry after we talked about ordering Rockstar, and she recommended it and then recommended a few other varieties from Ice Yarns, and so I had all of those in my cart, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on actually ordering those. So I've got all these Lion Brand yarns to work with, and then a big box coming from Premier. And then I'll probably order some from Ice Yarns. So we'll have some unboxings coming. I wouldn't expect those Ice Yarns to show up very quickly. Even with $58 shipping, I assume it's going to be relatively slow from Turkey. So if nothing else, it has to get through customs. So, other than that, what do you guys have to talk about? Do you have projects that you're working on, or questions about crochet or yarn or anything that's on the table around me? I'd be happy to answer those questions. Yeah. So the only thing that I'm really working on right now is with the cobblestone yarn from Lion Brand. It's one of the yarns that I unboxed on the live stream, but I am working on what was originally supposed to be like a market bag, and I think it's just going to be a cowl. So, partly because it's wider than I think I wanted it to be, and partly because I think the yarn just looks too, like, cozy and woolly for a bag. I don't know if that's like a weird thing, but I don't know. It just seems like it's too it seems like it wants to be a cowl. So I'm gonna probably work one more row of green and then probably go back to gray. And do this row is just a little bit taller because it's got the base row, so I'll probably do just a little bit taller gray row, and finish this off. So, and it should make a pretty nice cowl. So, that's what I'm working on. I think everything else I've shown. I made some fingerless gloves. We talked about doing a crochet along, which I haven't set up yet, but still working on sorting that out. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Let's see. Yeah, so Angela makes a good point. When I was saying the shipping, if you divide it up, that and then add it to the price of the yarn, it's still cheaper than the stores. It's cheaper by an astronomical amount. I went to go order the Rockstar on Amazon just because it was where I could get it like 2 days shipping, and I think it was like $10 or $12 a ball. And I think from Ice Yarns, it was somewhere on the order of like $1.50, $1.80 or something a ball for the Rockstar that we wanted. So it was so much cheaper. Even if you, I think actually, even if you took all of the shipping and just put it on that one bag of yarn, it still ended up being cheaper per ball, for the 6 balls of yarn than it would be to get them domestically for me. So it's certainly worth it. It just was more of a sticker shock on, ooh, I don't know if I want to pay that much for it. So I've done that a couple times recently. I found a cool crochet box that's in the UK. And the box it was expensive, but it wasn't like hideously expensive. And then normally it comes down a little bit because they remove the VAT tax, and that didn't come off, even though it was shipping to the US. And then they added shipping in, and it was pricey, and so it was like $75 once they did all the conversions. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to spend $75 to get the box. Like, then it ended up being like, made me pause a little bit. So I've had that happen a couple times recently. But let's see. Stampin' Bandit says it's the season of the Granny Challenge. They're doing a log cabin baby blanket. That sounds nice. I don't know the pattern offhand, but it sounds like a cool thing. Crafty Caitlin's asking if there is a way to search specifically for patterns that have a chart. I don't know, and I don't have my laptop in front of me, but I can look into it and get back to you. I don't know if I have any way to message you through YouTube to answer the question. If you have the ability, can you send me a direct message on either Instagram or on Facebook at Experiments in Crafting? The little logo's up on the screen. If you can send me a message on either of those, I can message you back if I can figure out a way to search just for charts. But without my laptop in front of me, I don't know if there's a way to do that. It's behind the screen. Okay. All right. So my husband found the log cabin baby blanket crochet along, he thinks. So it does look very cool, and it's all granny squares, so it's probably the right one. Stampin' Bandit is helping out Crafty Caitlin with the Ravelry. Under advanced search, they're saying that you can choose pattern attributes, and you can put a checkbox for charts. So hopefully that works. And if it doesn't, again, send me a direct message on one of the 2, Facebook or Instagram, and I can help you out more through there. White Elephant's asking if I like the Super Bowl. So I have a friend, and his kids come over every year for the Super Bowl. They're 8 now, and they've been coming every year since just shortly after they were born. I guess they would have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 months old when they came the first time. And so we watch the Super Bowl every year, and every year we watch less and less of the Super Bowl and just do something else. So this year we played a game called Munchkin. It's pretty popular, like card slash board game. We played the Harry Potter version, and so they're old enough to play and pretty much hold their own. So I had a lot of fun, but I didn't actually watch the Super Bowl. And then my husband and his friend just hung out and did other things. So it was a nice afternoon, and I made dinner and stuff. Um so yeah. Let's see. Santa's saying they do it by weight. I assume we're talking about shipping. Okay. Yeah. So you messaged there on the ice yarns. So yeah, we tried to like keep removing things until it went down to something reasonable, and it didn't seem there probably was some threshold, like once we hit X amount of pounds, that it it hit $58, and then probably if we get another, you know, another pound or so in there, then it goes up more. All right, Crafty Caitlin was able to resolve the Ravelry issue, so that's good. Let's see. Yeah, even so, at $58, it wouldn't be. Again, it would still only be $158, and it was a huge amount of yarn. So, the other thing that I wasn't in love with was that you had to buy the whole bag, and I don't necessarily need 8, or 6 or 10, depending on the bag, um, of a particular color. Like if I could pick and choose, and I know that's they're selling to sell to supply local yarn stores and things like that, where people do want 10 of a single colorway. But just to try things out, I don't necessarily need 10 of something. So I was picking and choosing what I actually wanted to get. What Elephant's asking if we're excited for Valentine's. We don't usually do anything crazy for Valentine's. I think I made dinner last year, but yeah, I don't know. Uh, I guess I'm not excited, but it's not a it's not that big of a holiday, I guess, for us. Um, yeah. So chat got really busy there, so hopefully I caught most of what's up there. Um, but yeah. So anybody else have anything you guys want to talk about? What are you guys working on as far as crochet projects or uh yarns that you have recently found and might want to, what do I want to say here? Some interesting yarns that you found and you want to share, or questions about yarn or crochet topics that you're interested in hearing about. I'm, like I said, really all I had to show you guys was this, and I'm working on the one project. I'm trying to think if I'm working on anything else. Yeah. um, yeah, Zeta's saying I could resell what I don't need out of the ice yarns, and my husband's saying that I have a lot of yarn already that I should be not should be selling, but could sell if the goal was to get rid of excess yarn. Um, yeah, I'm looking over at my room and I can see all of my bins. They're all nicely organized, and um, it's not like utter chaos, but yeah, there's a lot of yarn. I mean, you see what I bought just for showing for an unboxing, and I'll do some reviews, but realistically I couldn't possibly use all of the yarn that I buy for the channel. So there it sits. So it's come in handy several times. I've gone and found something that's been back there. Oh, my husband's showing you the back room there. So off to my side, there's a curtain, and then you can see, those are the stacks of bins back there that, we hide out of the view of normal people. um, so, um, yeah, no such thing as too much yarn. The problem is really convincing not my husband, cuz he will let me buy whatever I want, but normal people, just like family and friends, that like I actually need some other ball of yarn. Like I'll stop at a yarn store, and my sister will say, "Well, don't you have all of the yarn you could possibly ever need?" And yeah, but I'm gonna buy more. So, um, I'm always gonna buy more yarn. But we're just about back to like yarn show season. I'm thinking about maybe going to the Pittsburgh yarn show. I think it's roughly St. Patrick's weekend, somewhere in there, like mid-March. And then YarnCon is like April-ish. And then I think the next one we go to is not until August. But yeah, March and April have a couple of shows that I might be going to. Tracy's saying that she recently ordered from Ice Yarns about 120 balls of yarn, $185 with shipping. Yeah, it's still a great deal. Like 120 balls of yarn isn't like insane amount of yarn to get for that cheap. It's just it was not more, it wasn't really much of a complaint as much as it was like I was like, ooh, and then I just didn't hit order. So, I definitely will get some stuff. I just will pick and choose and probably end up ordering more because I don't want to pay for shipping twice. So, it'll be easier to order, an extra $50 worth and still pay $60 in shipping or whatever the balance ends up being. But yeah. So, Stampin' Bandit says that they just subscribe to Knit Crate and will need to invest in a Swift and a ball winder. If you're in the US, as far as Swift, let me see if I can reach mine. So I use this one. It's like a $13 one from Amazon. It is, I don't know, like just a basic, pops open. This is called an umbrella Swift. The other kind you can get is an Amish Swift. They're very, very pretty. But they've got a little bit of an issue with the weight. Like when they get going, they're spinning so fast, and they're actually heavy because they're made of wood. My husband made me one, and it's really, really nice looking. And I really love it, but it's just almost a little bit dangerous. Because it just gets spinning, and you occasionally will have to stop the yarn so that you can fix something. And you just get this like spinning wooden thing kind of like bump right into you over and over again. So, that one has served me very well. It has a pretty bad clamp here. I usually clamp it onto a board, like just a small piece of board, and then clamp the board to the table with a much better clamp. You can just get a better clamp, like from any hardware store, just a C-clamp, and clamp the board on. But that way I don't have to undo this part very often. It's off its board right now, but once you get this clamp set and like secure, I don't mess with it too much. It's not very good quality. but the Swift works just fine. It's like $13. You might be able to find a $12 one or something like that. But that part is pretty easy. You can make do with just the Swift and no ball winder. You can hand ball the yarn. I wouldn't go the other way around. Like if you have to choose only one, get the Swift and save up and wait on the winder. Yarn just goes really, really bad without a Swift. I've had my husband hold yarn, and it doesn't just unwrap like you think it would. It goes like down and back, and like you have to kind of keep contorting with it if you hold it by hand. So, a cheap Swift is better than no Swift, and I think is the more important of the two. That being said, I have a really nice yarn winder. Sorry about that. I have a really nice yarn winder. This is a Stanwood winder. So the yarn goes through here and then is like laid onto the ball, and this cone portion spins around, and you get a really, really nice ball out of this. These are pretty expensive. I think on the order of $60 to $70 in the US. You can get them on Amazon. I don't believe you can get them Prime. They come direct from Stanwood. So they make a very nice yarn winder, but it is more of a upgrade type of item. I had just a real cheap, I think it was called from a company called House Sweetie. And it was just a real cheap little winder, and it worked fine for, I don't know, about a year or so, and it didn't really have any problems. I just decided to upgrade to a nicer winder. Macy's saying that she's got an Amish Swift and hasn't had the same problems I've had. Yeah, the one my husband made me has a bearing in it, and it goes really fast. So, it's very well made, but it might actually be too well made. It might be better if it didn't have the little bearing and couldn't get going so quickly. But it does really move at a pretty good clip. So maybe with a commercially produced one, it's not as big of an issue. The other thing is I think the little pegs on it are just a little bit short. And so I might have to stop more often than other people do. Because my yarn jumps and then I have to stop it like immediately or it'll catch and break. So, normally I think you could just slow down and it wouldn't be a problem. But I actually have to like stick my hand in a really quickly spinning wood Swift. So, Helen's asking if all the yarn on the desk is from Lion Brand, and it is. So we're probably talking about two different things when you came in. So all the yarn I'm showing here is all from Lion Brand, all on the website. And once the live stream updates, you can see all of the different yarns and all of their weights and everything like that. But then we were talking about ordering from Ice Yarns, which is a Turkish company. And to get the yarn shipped in was quite expensive. So they're more of a like direct vendor to like local yarn store type of stores. And so they sell in bulk, and the shipping is international cost for Turkey to the US, so it was a little pricey. So hopefully that helps give you a little context if you came in the middle of that conversation. But all right, I think I've got missed a comment a little higher that said Lion Brand's yarn weights are so wonky. I agree there. We had some weird ones in here just today. I think this one is 262 yards for 100 grams. That I would put starting to approach a DK weight. Could be still a worsted, but this one at 306 yards per 100 grams, that that math doesn't quite work out to a worsted. It could work up like a worsted, but it isn't likely to. I know I haven't even opened it or touched it, so maybe I should just believe Lion Brand, but my inclination is that they're wrong. That it's probably going to work up more like a DK weight than it is like a worsted weight. And then you've got this one over here, which is 241 yards per 100 grams, and they've got it listed as a DK weight. So the one that's 260 is worsted, and the one that's 240 is DK, and that's backwards. Like, if you have more yards per 100 grams, it's a smaller yarn. It's a finer yarn. So
Maybe unless it was.
they are slightly different composition.
Material, so it'd
Yeah.
be different density.
Yeah, there could be some density difference, so it could weigh more and still be finer. And there's things like twist and things like that that go into it, but just as a general rule, you can sort of count on a worsted weight yarn being about 200 yards for 100 grams. Let's see. Tracy's saying she's going to a farm to fiber show. What kind of yarn can I expect to see? What's your favorite yarn to pick up at these types of shows? So depending on what types of fibers you're looking at, alpaca is usually a really good one to get at those types of shows. We sort of stumbled across an alpaca show a couple years back. They had the like National Alpaca Finals or something in Peoria, which is not too far from us. And if my husband's teasing me and saying what kinds of fibers they have, it more so it was a lot of places will have just wool, like sheep's wool. But if they've got alpaca, it's often good to get alpaca from shows like that. You usually get a higher quality alpaca than you will as part of a blend or as part of like anything from a big box store usually has pretty low grade alpaca. And you'll know the difference when you handle like good alpaca at a show. Alpaca is like oddly cold to the touch, and it's very, very soft fiber. And if you pick up like Lion Brand's Touch of Alpaca, it's fine, but the alpaca fibers in there are kind of pokey. And they're not as nice as the alpaca from shows. They say they'll have breed-specific yarns and flock yarns. So I'm guessing that's probably more of a sheep show. I mean, obviously merino, if you can get merino, is a very nice yarn, but sometimes it's more fun to get like these weird, I guess not weird, but like different sheep wools. I guess the thing to keep in mind, well, two things to keep in mind. One, make sure that you know that you're getting superwash yarn if you want superwash yarn. So by that I mean most of the yarn that you can get like from an indie dyer that's merino is all superwash, where they've removed the scale from the fibers. So on the outside of wool, there's like these little dragon scales. Like if you look on a microscope, you can see all these like little scales on each individual fiber. And if they don't remove them, they will like lock together. And that's what felting is. So you'll hear people talking about felting wool, and you can put it through the wash machine and it like binds together and makes like a mat like felt. If you get superwash wool, it doesn't do that. But at shows like this, you need to be careful that you're actually purchasing superwash. So if you're not getting superwash sheep's wool, the chances of it shrinking and felting on you are very high. So maybe talk to them about the different types. There might be types that don't need to be superwashed. I don't know enough about the individual breed specifics. I really like blue-faced Leicester, often abbreviated BFL. It's not a very soft, squishy yarn, but it usually has beautiful stitch definition. All of the BFL I've worked with just gives these lovely stitches that like really hold their own. It makes beautiful accessories for like fancier application. I think is my gray shawl down here. Oop. This here. Let me clear a little bit away from the desk. Get that out of there. Throw these in a box and clear a little space off the table real quick so that I can show you this. I know I've shown this shawl before a couple of times on the stream, but I'm going to show it again. This is probably one of my favorite projects. This is the lizard shawl. No, I always call it dragon, but the name of the pattern's actually lizard. But this is out of Leading Men Fiber Arts. They're a Central Illinois indie dyer. And this is 100% BFL, and it just gives the most beautiful stitches. You can see all of this like lace section is still like holding itself open. It's not on a normal. Let me see if I've got something here. So this is 100% merino, same company. So this is a pretty open lacy pattern, and you can see like the lace has collapsed. This was blocked, and it still looks very nice, but you've got to like hold it open to get the lace to stand and stay open. Where this has absolutely just stayed open. And every ridge on here is standing up. You can see all of the post stitches like laying over really beautifully, and that lace is just staying open. So I really like BFL, but it is not like squishy and I want to snuggle it. It's nice for like a wrap that you really want to look stunning. So depending on what your end use is, that's an option. Yeah, so it looks like they've got a variety. I would just go see what you like. Stampin' Bandit's recommending Peruvian Highland, so that's another option. As far as wool, sheep's wool. So, and then as far as alpaca goes, they've got a couple different ones, that are options, and I don't remember what they're called. There was one that like had this crazy long, like curly hair. But yeah. All right, let me go back up a little higher. Stampin' Bandit says that they're using Feels Like Butter from Lion Brand. It's labeled as a worsted. Recommends a hook for a DK. So it's probably in between. I think I had a similar problem. Feels Like Butter is probably, in my opinion, finer than a worsted weight. So yeah, it could be an in-between yarn. A lot of yarns sort of fall into that category. For a while, we were using like a graphic that showed where it was like on a scale from 0 to 7. And more often than not, yarns sort of fell in between. But there's no like 3.5 weight. So that does happen quite a bit where they have these weird in-between weights. But lady at my like local crochet and knitting night was knitting a blanket out of Feels Like Butter in white, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It looked like it was made of cotton. It had like a nice like fluffy look to it. Um, and it was really really pretty. I hope it holds up because it's a little bit like microfibery, and it was white, and I don't know if it'll bleach like clean. So I'm hoping that it holds up because it was really really pretty. But I could see it sort of ending up like almost picking up dirt like a dust rag, and getting real dingy real quick. But hopefully it holds up because, like I said, it was really working up very nice. And then Helen's saying that she was able to went to ICE. I live in Indiana. You don't need to buy the package of the yarn, and the shipping was quite a bit. I think it was $20, and the shipping was about the same. Um, yeah. So yeah, I basically had the same problem. Is that the shipping ended up being a substantial portion of the cost of the yarns, but the yarns, if you get them locally, are still very expensive. So it still, I think, works out in your favor. Um, and Stampin' Bandit saying that feels like butter is 100% polyester, but so soft. Yeah, it, like I said, it just feels a little bit like a microfiber like dust cloth, and so I'm just, that would be my only concern. As and actually the ones that I got from Lion Brand, I think I opened up on stream and they came dirty. So I made like a little square, sort of a lovey sized blanket out of them. I don't know that we ever reviewed that. I was going to review that along with the Red Heart Amour, which I think is basically exactly the same yarn, in slightly different colors. So, but they were both like 100% polyester. Actually, those might be chainette style yarns. I kind of forgot about those, but I think those are both chainette style yarns, made out of very fine polyester chenille. So, I guess maybe there are more chainettes than I was able to come up with when I was doing that review. Alrighty. Oh yeah, there's my yarn weight scale. And so when I did the video on yarn weights, it was really useful, and then we used it in a couple videos, and I don't know if we stuck with it, but um, there's a lot of yarns that fall um, sort of on the spectrum rather than, you know what I mean, like not in a solid category, but somewhere in between. So, yeah, Stampin' Bandit's confirming that they are chainette style yarns, so that's what I thought. Put these guys all off of the table. That's really all I have to talk about tonight. I don't know. Tracy, I hope has a good time, and hopefully will let us know about the what kind of yarns she's able to get there. Um, but yeah, other than that, I think we might wrap up for the evening. I don't think it's as late as we normally go, but um maybe next week we'll have the premiere yarns. I'm hoping that'll show up in time to unbox for next week's. I'm trying to remember what all I got in that package, but nothing's coming to me that was Bloom has a chunky version, and so I've got a little bit of that coming. And there were some cool self patterning yarns that we're gonna try and work with. I'm probably gonna work one up in crochet and have my husband machine knit the other, and see what we come up with. So that should be a fun review to do, to see how different the patterns work up, because based on their patterns, it looked like they worked up pretty differently. So I'm kind of excited to try that out. But did I order that? I might have ordered a chainette from Premiere. called Allure. I don't actually remember if I did. I ordered a lot of stuff from Premiere. So, I also got some like solid colored parfait. So, I'm looking forward to just working with that personally. I really like the parfait layers, but the layering part didn't work out so well. They had a lot of quality control issues with that, but the yarn itself was really cool. So, yeah, that might have all worked itself out, but the balls that we got had some issues. So, but anyway, we are going to wrap up for the evening. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you need me when we're not streaming, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at Experiments in Crafting. If you like the live stream, please hit like. And if you're new to the stream, you can hit subscribe, and hopefully you'll get as many of the notifications as you can if you click the little bell and change it from personalized to all. So YouTube doesn't seem to send out all the notifications, but by clicking all, you get the most that they'll send you. So hopefully you'll be able to join us again, both new and returning viewers. Generally, we stream Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. And if we're not going to stream, I try and post on Facebook, Instagram, and on the community tab for YouTube. So if we're not streaming, there should be a notice on there, but otherwise we stream Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock Central Time. So thank you for joining me, and hope to see you next week. Have a good night. Bye.